was 16 years old, a junior in high school, getting expelled, kicked out of high school. Now, before you start judging me, let me explain. I was a varsity cheerleader. I was the piano accompanist to the choir. I played the keyboard for the jazz band. But hanging out with the wrong crowd and a bad decision landed me in alternative school. And at this school, I kept hearing the administrators call us at risk, or this school is for at-risk students. And I started to think, what exactly does she mean by at risk? I thought I had already took the risk. That's what got me here. So I asked my teacher, why do you keep calling us at risk? What does that mean? And she said, oh, at risk you. You know, you're less likely to become a productive citizen in society. You're less likely to graduate from college. And you're more likely of becoming a failure. This rang in my head like a nightmare. A failure. So, in that moment of despair, I remember being incredibly disappointed. Disappointed in myself. And another teacher came up to me, and she said, Kim, have you written down your goals? And I was like, goals? For what? And she said, Kim, just because you're in this condition, don't lose your vision. So I wrote down my one-year goal. And I wrote down, I want to go to college. And I wrote down my dream college I wanted to go to. And then I wrote down my 3-year goal and my 4-year goal. And in that moment, I realized that the only thing I was at risk of was not believing in myself. And so I applied to my dream school. And to the much of everybody's surprise, I got in. And I went to that school I wanted to go to. And while I was there, I got a job at a cosmetic counter in the mall so I could take care of myself and help out. And inside of that store is where I fell in love with making women feel good about themselves. You see, I didn't want anybody else to feel that failure I felt when they put that label on me. So I started to use makeup to make women put a label on them of success, of happiness, of confidence. And so I had a good time doing that. And then my senior year, you know what your parents ask you, what you gonna be when you grow up? And I remember asking my manager at my store, I was like, my mom just called. She said, what am I about to do after college? And she said, Kim, you should start your own makeup line. You can do this. So I left, I went home, started looking up, how can I start a makeup line? And I started to find out the ingredients inside of makeup. And I was utterly disgusted. A little pissed, to be honest. Because I was selling women crap, ingredients that were not good for my customer. So, you know, that's when I began taking positive risk. And I decided to start my own makeup line so I could stop putting my customers at risk of their health with the ingredients inside of makeup. And I started that business at 21 called Lamique Beauty. Love and makeup and kindness. A clean makeup line that I came up with my chemist. And I moved to Houston. And at 21, I started betting on myself. You know, I remember being at a Capital Summit and hearing a venture capitalist male say, you know, women, they're so risk adverse. We can't find any to be able to invest in other companies because they don't take risk. And this is a myth, right? Think about it. Women, we lay our lives on the line to have babies. We take the biggest risks in the world. And then I thought about Harriet Tubman, who was an abolitionist and took a risk and laid her life on the line for so many others. I was talking to one of my customers. She's a national recording artist. She's traveled all over the world. And I asked her, what's the biggest risk you ever took? And she said, Kim, my biggest risk is asking for help. And that hit me. Because in a lot of instances, I thought about that, asking for help. Is it that women don't want to be seen as weak or don't know? So then I asked another friend, what is the biggest risk that you have to take? She said the risk of helping others. This requires for us both to take on an opportunity to help each other that actually could empower us. I know this very well because my biggest risk since being an entrepreneur has been asking for help. I did it with a crowdfunding campaign where I had to ask for help. And I was wondering why was I agonizing over asking for help? I'm strong, I'm confident, but it's something about being vulnerable. But I did not let that feeling take over me. And I ended up raising $45,000 in 30 days for our business. So, I want to encourage women. It's time that we start wearing the label of risk takers. I want you to take on 3 habits. 1, start using risky language. You know, when you have the conversations, state the fact of what's at stake, but then also state the fact of the accomplishment you will gain. 2, start self-promoting. Talk about what you've done. Brag about it. They haven't heard enough of it. And 3, align yourself with other risk takers. When you do that, people will see you as that. I love a good acronym. So, we're going to take risk and we're going to spell it backwards. K-S-I-R. Who likes a good game of Simon Says? Well, let's change the nature of that. It's Kim Says. I'm the commander. So women, when you get up tomorrow, this acronym, K-S-I-R, Kim Says, I'm risky.